Now, a record 7 female governors have been sworn in today in Kenya out of a total of 45 governors who were elected in recent elections. The vote has ushered in a new wave of female leaders in the country. Previously, there were only 3 women holding these influential positions. In Africa in general and Nigeria in particular, very few female leaders hold elective positions, despite women making up nearly half of registered voters. So, as Nigeria's crucial 2023 elections approach, we ask, how many of those striving in rivalry for elected positions are women? And how many have tried and failed to move the goalposts? Well, for all this, I'm joined now in the studio by the Senior Special Advisor to the Deputy Senate President, Jennifer Oguzie, who was an aspirant in the recently concluded APC primaries for the House of Representatives, and by Ifendu, President of the Women in Politics Forum. Thank you very much indeed to both of you for coming in. And I'll come to you because this is right up your street. First, your reaction to the news that 7 female governors who were elected recently in Kenya have been sworn in today. That's a record for any African country, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I want to say that I celebrate the women, especially one of them actually contested as an independent candidate. And for her to contest as an independent candidate with huge funding that is required and a lot of electioneering campaigns and things like that, and finally made it, you know, defeating men from other political parties. I mean, it's a thing of joy for us. We are not in Kenya, we're in Nigeria, but at the same time, when, you know, it's blowing across Africa, there's every hope that one day it will get to us in Nigeria. I witnessed the Kenyan election. I was there as an observer.
Okay, were you part of the Commonwealth Observer team?
No.
Okay,
the
right.
Democrat Union
okay,
of
right,
Africa,
right, okay.
Team. And it was also something good to see that women actually came out to vote. I shared a lot of pictures of very old women, you know, coming out to vote. And they had a lot of sensitization. They knew what it meant to vote for a woman. And they did that. So it's something that we should take out from Kenya and try to, you know, emulate in Nigeria. But again, I must be honest with you, the electoral system also supported them. And that's what is lacking in Nigeria.
How did that support them?
Now, a country where there's possibility for you to run as an independent candidate, especially when you know that you're popular and you can win an election.
Do it on your own,
yes.
basically, and not have to depend on a whole set of men to sort of
Nigeria, you need a
give
platform.
you approval.
Yes, without a platform, you will not be able to do that.
Yes.
That's on one side. Secondly, again, the internal party democracy is not there. So even when our women come out to contest, you will see that the process of nomination will not favor them. High nomination forms also.
You mean the cost?
The cost,
yeah.
Yes. So these are some of the things that hinder them. And again, also, they have the special seats reserved for women. That was also a good thing.
Yes, that would have helped.
Exactly.
So a form of affirmative action.
Affirmative
basically.
action,
right?
Yes.
Okay, let me bring you in, Jennifer Oguzie, on the back of what Ifendu was saying. I mean, because you ran for House of Reps. Under the APC recently, you lost at the primary stage. How easy or difficult was it for you as a woman to have gone through that? And given that experience, how difficult do you think it is for a woman to rise to elected office in Nigeria?
Thank you, Mr. Charles, for having me. First of all, I want to say a great congratulations to the 7 female governorship candidates that won their election. Funtama Achana from Kwale County, Susan Kalika from Nakura County, Cecilia from Mbano County, Kware from Meru County.
Well, we get the message because we haven't got much time to go through all of them.
It's amazing
Yes.
to hear that they won their
yes.
elections, you know. Being a female contesting for federal house in Nigeria is an experience that I will leave to express over and over again.
Right.
Now, I don't like to be seen as somebody that came from the diaspora to run for an election. No, because
even though you did come from the diaspora to run for election.
I've been in this business for 12 years.
What you mean?
Like in the political business,
right? In Nigeria.
In Nigeria,
right,
because
okay.
I wanted to understand the nitty-gritties of running for an election from the grassroots, to understanding it, to knowing the people, to canvassing for votes, to the people, door-to-door election, campaigning, having the finances, knowing the people. I ran the election. I came back to run for the election and to win. I didn't want to be handed the ticket.
Right.
I wanted to be
You wanted to earn the ticket.
Earn it. I wanted to be given the equal opportunity, the fair chance to compete with the men. I didn't want to be seen as a weakling to run the election. Oh, just give it to her. No. I wanted to go
Well, they probably
out.
wouldn't have given it to you in any case.
I wanted to go out on the field and compete.
Right. But what I wanted to ask you is this. Did your failure to win have anything to do with you being a woman?
Actually, the simple truth is I withdrew. I didn't lose.
Right.
This is a general thing in the whole country. The women are not given the fair chance. It's not about losing. It's either you're called to step down. It's either you're being disqualified. It's either you seem not to be fit to even contest. It's not about the women losing. It's about you're not good enough. It's about, oh, you can't do it. It's a job for the men. So there are a lot of women out there who are good for the job,
well, absolutely,
but they're not given the fair chance.
In fact, I would argue that some of the best people
they're qualified, they have the finances, they can do the job even better, but they're not given the fair chance, period.
And is that what you see as the biggest challenge that women face when they want to get up there with the best of them in Nigerian politics?
Well, basically, that's what it is. I mean, we are faced with an issue now. One of the ladies that contested for the senatorial seat in Ebonyi State, she ran against the governor, who not even against the governor, because the governor picked the presidential ticket and she picked the senatorial ticket. The governor didn't make it to the presidential election primaries, and he came back to pick the senatorial ticket. The matter is still in court, but the woman is being victimized.
Yeah. Very unfair, isn't it?
Very, very unfair.
Although we can't really pass judgment.
We can't pass judgment, but that's what it is, actually. She's been threatened, she's been harassed, she's been called names. And I ask, why don't you just wait for the appeal court to take a decision on that? I mean, if the appeal court gives it to the governor, that's well and good. And if he gives it to the woman, it should also be well and good. So why are you intimidating a woman just because of, trying to get her?
So they're basically saying you should clear out because this belongs to a man, basically.
So this is not right. And like what she said, she had to withdraw. And in doing that...
Under pressure.
So it's so painful. You're qualified. And I'm sure she withdrew for a man that she is 100% better than.
Well, let me bring you back in, Jennifer, because you're a reasonably young woman who's clearly upwardly mobile. I was looking at your CV. You've done so much internationally. I mean, you're a senior special advisor to the Deputy Senate President. You were a policewoman in America. What was the campaign? I mean, you spoke in general terms, but be more specific. What was the campaign like for you running in the APC primaries? How did people react to you?
Mr. Charles, they call me Mama Bomber. I'm like a virus. I'm a pandemic. The people love me.
Ooh, I better move back.
Yeah, the people love me. I did my campaign like the way you do it in America. I went door to door. I canvassed for vote. I knew people by first name, last name, their parents, the kids, their problems, what they need, what they want. I explained to them what it was to be a legislator. I made them understand the duty of a legislator. I made them understand what it is I would do for them, what were their needs. There was nothing that scared me based on insecurity I'm a police officer, for God's sakes. So I wasn't intimidated by insecurity. I went to the people. I made them love me. I made them understand me. You
build trust, which is important.
They call me. I answer my phone in the morning, in the night, whether it's sunny, whether it's raining. They loved me. I was the most loved, the most popular. The delegates I had in my hand, I had 164 delegates, 65 were women. I went to the women. I said, if you've ever been a mother and you've carried a child, your vote. There has never been a woman in my federal constituency, Mr. Charles. And I said, for the first time, send a woman and see the reason a woman's voice will be heard.
Wow, I'll vote for you.
Mr. Charles, I said women bring fresh perspective. Women are more effective.
I absolutely agree with you.
Women are more empathetic. Women are the
come
best
from a family with very powerful women, so I agree with you.
Women will bring the bridges. You know, women have more cultural diversity. They said, Jennifer, your vote we have. If the 65 women will vote for me, I already have 40%.
Yeah, but what's happened? I mean, how did all that enthusiasm and that energy dissipate?
I could see it. The handwriting was written on the wall.
Right.
My name means a lot to me. My integrity is everything. I'm a sworn police officer, a cop. What will I tell the world if I lose? That I came back, I ran an election, that I put in so much money to lose an election? No. When I run, I want to win. So I stepped down.
So you felt you weren't going to win, basically.
I knew it. And I cannot.
And you thought that had something to do with you
when
being
I said the word, I felt I would be democratically raped. I had to withdraw.
Right.
And my delegate respected my wish.
Okay, well, I appreciate your honesty with that. Let me come back to you, Ebere. What's the best way to fight for more women to get elected? You mentioned affirmative action, but is it also civic education and showing that women have as much right as men to occupy high offices?
I think this will have to do with the gatekeepers, the political gatekeepers. Internal party democracy. From what she just explained, she was going to win the primaries.
And they got scared,
She may not want to, you know, explain certain things that played out. But I want to tell you categorically that the governors in Nigeria today, they are destroying our democracy. They have become emperors. They will have to choose who will go to contest or who will occupy any position. A situation like that, and you don't have the governors backing, no matter the campaign,
you're up the creek, basically.
You won't get it. And basically, I'm sure it was what happened to her. She didn't say it, but I can feel it because it's something that I do all the day, every day, and I understand.
Yeah, she clearly wasn't there to go and, you know, bow down to somebody.
Exactly.
I mean, when she has every right
and it's
to
so
run.
painful. So our problem is internal party democracy. We know that legislation is good. If you recall, months back, we presented 5 bills to the National Assembly.
Yes, I think I remember
One of the bills actually was on special seats for women, creating an additional 111 seats for women. National Assembly threw it out. And you know what? At the National Assembly gate, when Nigerian women occupied the National Assembly for 10 working legislative days, I told them, I said, most of you that voted against us will not get back to the National Assembly. And from the results so far, has played out. The few that got tickets to run will still not win. Because it's something that they owe Nigerian women. They had an opportunity to get it right. They refused to do it. So you see, for me, if there's legislation that says 35% of women will be members of the party executive, not just position of maybe woman leader, position of deputy national woman leader, things like that, and you cage them where they will not have a voice. We also want a situation where, for appointed positions, we will have a minimum of 35% of women being appointed. I mean, if there is such legislation, Constitution giving us the power, and sadly again, I don't know, Charles, if you recall that Nigerian women also went to court against the federal government on the interpretation of the Constitution, and we won at the Federal High Court. Just on the 6th of July or so, the Attorney General of the Federation appealed that judgment, and you want to ask, why would
why would you want to do that?
Why would you want to do that? But we are not discouraged. The important thing for us is that we are following up to the Supreme Court. There must be a judicial interpretation of the word equality in the Constitution.
That's a good point.
And I tell them this.
That's a good point.
In Senegal, they went out for affirmative action. They didn't get affirmative action. They had to test it out in the courts, and they got judgment. And today in Senegal is 50-50. So to them, they will tell you they didn't get affirmative action, but they got parity.
Absolutely.
And I'm seeing that going to happen in Nigeria. It's a matter of time. But throwing out the bills helped us. It built us to understand that, look, it is now, something that we have to take up as Nigerian women, irrespective of party, irrespective of religion. Irrespective of political or economic status. I mean, when we occupied the National Assembly, what kept us moving was the support we got from Nigerian women. Somebody will come up there with just few bottles of water and say, sisters, this is for you. So in rejecting those bills, what they did was
they strengthened your resolve.
Absolutely.
And that's a very important thing. Let me come back to you, Jennifer. On the positive side, are there men who have believed in you and have given you a chance as you struggled to get up that ladder, particularly during the election period?
Absolutely.
I mean, the primaries and all the rest of it.
First of all, I have mentors, men who will say, Jennifer, you are meant to lead. Nigeria needs you. Don't give up. Oh, I'm not going to give up. This is just the beginning. It's just a scratch on the top. They said, we know you. You're a fighter. Don't give up. I'm not going to give up. They stood by me. They're still standing by me. Not financially. I'm going to say it. They still encouraging me, saying, don't give up. Just keep pushing. You will make headways. You will make headlines in Nigeria. We know you're passionate about this. We know you can do this. Let this not turn you down. Just keep pushing. Your people love you. I know you've been quiet about this. You've been mute. Your integrity. It's everything. And that's what we love about you. Because Mr. Charles, what I told my people, I said, this is a job. If I'm qualified, hire me. I am not asking you that I'm the best. Lay me out with the 5. I was the only female in my federal constituency that came out with 5 other male aspirants. I said, lay me out with those 5, male aspirants. If any of them is more qualified than me, vote for him and I will work with him. But if I am the best, the more qualified, then send me.
So in conclusion, overall progress to close the gender gap in politics has been slow.
Yes.
But there is little bits and pieces. Awareness is growing, and that's a positive thing.
Why would it stop the Federal Republic of Nigeria to allow women to give them fairness, equity, and justice?
And that's a very important question. And
allow them to go to the poll.
Yes.
If they fail, they will walk away.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but you make some very, very good points. And I want to thank both of you very much indeed. Jennifer Oguzie, who was an aspirant in the recently concluded APC primaries for the House of Representatives, and of course, Ebere Ifendu, President of the Women in Politics Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles.